I don't think it's a secret that DreamWorks' movie quality is about as stable as an ostrich riding a horse while balancing a garden gnome on its beak, but they do occasionally get something out without either breaking the gnome, having the ostrich fall off, or causing the horse to die from embarrassment. The most recent of their gnome ostrich horse balancing attempts is The Bad Guys, a hybrid 3D 2D film about a 5-animal team of criminals who get caught and try to pretend to turn good to get freedom so that they can stay bad. Like I said before, DreamWorks is a swinging pendulum when it comes to quality, so the only thing that had me truly hooked was the art style, but I did have hopes that the story would be good based on the trailers. And for the most part, it delivered. Heck, I wanted to watch it again after the film ended in the theaters, which is kind of an off thing for me.
This is kind of an off day for me. This doesn't normally happen.
Also, apparently it was based on a Scholastic book or book series, but I didn't even know that was a thing, so I'm going to treat it as if it's its own thing. Let's talk about my few complaints. For one, it's extremely predictable. There were quite a few twists I called based either on the trailers or just movie tropes in general. I did, however, miss the last twist, which makes perfect sense, so I don't know how I missed it, but I did. It also feels like it's definitely for a younger audience compared to something like Encanto, my current yardstick for 3D films, though it's definitely enjoyable by an older audience because of its references and jokes, which I will touch on later. Now let's talk about the good. For one, the hybrid 3D 2D style is absolutely gorgeous. It's basically a DreamWorks version of the Spider-Verse visuals. On the 2D side of things, it's great. The anime-esque action lines bring the movie to life, and the extra details on the characters and objects just make it pop more, at least to me. As for the 3D stuff, it is just as great, if not somehow better. Compared to the other anthropomorphic animal films like DreamWorks' own Kung Fu Panda and Disney's Zootopia, it takes a very cartoonish, cel-shaded approach to appearance, which really helps the 2D editions pop, like I previously mentioned. Would I say that the chosen hybrid animation art style is better than something like pure 3D? No, but I can't say that it's worse either. It's just different. For example, Encanto feels like pure 3D CGI perfected, whereas this is more stylized. They're both great in their own ways. The characters are also amazing. Every character feels like they have a genuine character arc that works, even if some of them are shared arcs. I genuinely felt for Wolf's situation and was pulling for him to take the path of good. Shark's disguising is absolutely hilarious to watch because it's so obvious, but that helps the humor of the film. While I don't remember much about Tarantula and Piranha, I do remember that compared to her roles in Raya and the Last Dragon and Shang-Chi in The Legend of the Ten Rings, Awkwafina is much less annoying and I actually enjoyed her performance more as Tarantula. She also had some good lines, which helps.
Happy birthday, Mr. Grumpy Pants.
I think I hate you.
As for Snake, he is easily the second best character behind Wolf for animation alone. The sheer amount of creativity in his tail animation for different purposes and uses is amazing and deserves credit where it's due. The police chief was funny as well, with just enough slapstick in her designs and movement to keep her interesting as her own character. As for Diane and Professor Marmalade, I'm going to avoid talking about them here for fear of accidentally spoiling the film for you. Okay, now let's talk about the story. The film felt like a combination of classic heist tropes mixed with the chaos of the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Like I said earlier, the twists are as predictable as a yearly wildfire happening somewhere in the state of California, but the humor and charm carries it to a point where you know what's coming, but you can't wait because you want to see how it's executed. I watched it with my friend Micah, aka Michachu Gaming, who may or may not make a cameo on this channel in the future.
To be honest, I just came in here because it was quieter.
And I remember looking over and seeing him almost rolling in his seat laughing at least twice. It's a really well-written, fun story that I was actually engrossed in, even with the predictability. There was one scene during that one song sequence that they posted on YouTube that made me genuinely confused for a moment, like, was that meant to be a double meaning, or am I going insane? Then there was the major twist that I saw coming from a mile away, but had extra details I didn't know, which, well, I'm not going to spoil here. Once the film comes out on streaming and Blu-ray, I'd love to do a longer video talking about this film. There are a ton of tiny details I'd love to pick apart. But until then, just know this. The film may be targeted at a younger general audience story-wise than something like Encanto, but it's a blast from start to finish and a visual treat on the eyes, and you should totally go watch it as soon as you can, if not just to show that we appreciate the art style alone. Well, that's all from me for now. Remember, Jesus loves you and God bless you. Until next time, peace out, Finnegan Squad.